And welcome to tonight's webinar entitled The Three Things That Black Women Need to Know to Prevent Dementia. Now, my name is Dr. David Ajibade, and I run the Brain and Body Foundation, which is a research/charity organization focused on finding solutions to brain problems in all ages, whether in kids or adults, especially for people in third world countries, especially for Black people who don't have access to the tools, the resources, the expertise that many people take for granted in the United States. And I tell you, it's amazing what it is that we don't have compared to what you all have in the United States. But sometimes it's an advantage because it forces us to think from shall we say, first principles, learning, finding out what really works, and finding out how to apply the things that really work in third world settings. Let me tell you, folks, it's either it works or it doesn't, and you can tell, especially when it comes to kids. There's no such thing as placebo when it comes to kids because either it works or it doesn't. You're not going to fool their minds into thinking something something works or it doesn't work. So it has been our calling, our mission, our mandate in life to really find out the solutions, like I said, to brain problems of all classes and all categories. Now, that does not mean that we cure or we treat all these problems or we have 100% success, but it means that we can push the needle forward, so to speak. Like, if a person is suffering from severe brain damage, I can confidently say that we can improve that person's situation by 25%. So there are so many things, and I believe there are so many things that can be done, and which we are trying our possible best, our darndest, to find these solutions too. And this is, hello everyone. Hello Joshua, welcome. Crystal, hello. Let's know where you're logging in from. Somebody said this morning, good morning. So clearly you're not in the United States. Crystal, tell us where you're calling in from, all right? Okay. So as I said, there are things that there's always something that can be done. And when it comes to dementia, and where I'm speaking to Black women now, this is Black Women Empowered, right? When it comes to dementia, Black women you all have the worst rates and highest risks of developing dementia. Now, Black people in general have the highest rates of dementia in the country, and I'm in Baltimore, so Baltimore is number one city in the whole country for dementia, and Baltimore is predominantly Black. Maryland is the number one state in the country for dementia, and it gets better. The most number of Blacks with dementia are in the state of Maryland and Baltimore. So we've got that triple whammy going for us. So it's a big problem. And I really feel that the efforts should be there should be a lot more effort towards educating Black people in Baltimore about dementia and what they can do to prevent or reduce their risks of developing dementia, because it's getting really bad. After the pandemic, I got to tell you, things have gone. They've ratcheted up a lot, like 17% increase in the rate of dementia after the pandemic for various reasons, which we're probably not going to go into right now. Whoa, Crystal, can you speak in English, please? I mean, this looks like German you just wrote just now. All right, well, we'll hang in there. Hello, Fahan, greetings from Africa. Which part of Africa? Tell us. Africa is a very big country, Fahan. Don't just say Africa. I want to know where exactly in Africa are you based? Okay, so welcome again. Our topic tonight is the three things Black women must know to prevent dementia or to reduce their risk of developing dementia. This is a very important topic. I'm doing a series for the Baltimore City Health Department, and someone asked what needed to be done about it, and I mentioned these three things, and after I said it, I was like, well, you know what? Maybe we need to talk about this. This is the topic that we should talk about to you all on this platform. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So again, let us know where you're coming from. Farhan, come on, help a brother out. The Pearl of Africa. I mean, that's clearly Nigeria, right? I mean, it can't be anywhere else. But your name does not sound like Nigeria, sound Nigerian. So, so tell us which pearl of Africa you mean. It must be another pearl of Africa from Nigeria. All right, folks, let's know where you're calling in from. We're talking about, I don't think there's a more important topic than dementia, really, because the person has heart disease, person has cancer. I mean, those are really bad conditions as well. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to dementia, it's a it's a cut above the rest, in my opinion, because it's the person, the individual, the soul, the essence of the person that is being lost, not just the body. Yes, the body is decaying as well, but the essence of the person. I mean, it is terrible. It is terrible for a person to begin to lose their memory. The person who gave birth to you, who reared you, who weaned you, who gave you suck, who you sucked her breast as a child, and then she watched over you, she took care of you, she loved over you, and then in her latter years to not know who you are. That's something that is terrible. And like I said, it has made it. I made it my mission in life with the Brain and Body Foundation and my team at the Brain and Body Foundation to address this. Yes, we do treat dementia in Nigeria. I've actually been given, our organization has been given special privileges to treat dementia and memory problems and brain disorders using our special approach. So I am licensed in Nigeria. So, but we also help people around the world as well. So you can always give us a DM and send us a DM, and then we can see how we can help. I'm not licensed to treat in the U.S. and you all, from what I've seen, very very litigious. There's a lot of lawsuits going around, so we're especially careful. But we can give you some coaching and health advice on what to do and what to avoid. So again, I'm going to go into this presentation, and you let me know. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just share my screen. All right. Thank you for joining us today, folks. All right. I hope you all can hear me, and I'm going to show the screen very soon. I hope you all can see the screen. So a few things about myself. All right, can you all see the screen? Let me know if you can see the screen. Let's type in yes if you can see the screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and just check to see real quick. I'm hoping somebody would have said yes. Come on, folks, type in. I need somebody to tell me if you can see the screen, if you can see. Okay, good. Oh, yeah, Uganda. Fahan, you're from Uganda. Hello, my brother. That's the pearl of Africa. I did not know that at all. Uganda is a pearl of Africa. That is definitely new. Okay, I'm going to go back to the screen. Someone says you can see the screen, so good. I'm going to go back to the screen. All right, good. All right, so the three things Black women, and of course, yeah, I can see some Black people on the platform too as well. So yes, you need to know this you need to know this as well. All right, so a few things about myself. I'm the founder and director of the Brain and Body Foundation. It's based both in Nigeria and the US. I'm a volunteer educator with the Alzheimer's Association. It's a great privilege to work with such a great organization. They are free. They do a lot of good work. And if you want their contact information, they are available 24/7 to guide people, caregivers and loved ones, loved ones who are going through the process or going through this challenging condition. I'm doing work. So for my work in Baltimore, I was selected to be in their magazine, their prestigious Baltimore magazine's Game Changers edition. I also recently won. Apparently, I was not in the country, but they felt I deserved it. So who am I to argue with it? Most respected CEO award in hospitals and healthcare was given to me. I'm also listed in the Who's Who in America. That was for 2023. And a few years back, our show, which goes on to this day, is called Your Health in Your Hands. It's aired in Nigeria on the largest network in Africa. It's a government-owned network, but it beams throughout Africa. We won the award for the best TV show. I share all this just, I mean, some people like to see, okay, who is this and why is he talking to us? I mean, what credibility does he have? What standing? What's his pedigree? Well, as you can see, in both continents, we're doing good work, whether in Africa or in the US. So we have been recognized. This is not just a subjective thing that we're trying to do this. No, our work is being recognized both nationally and internationally. So, and people see that we want to help. We want to, this information is crucial and we want everybody to know about this information. All right. As I've always said before, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to get back into the point. I have this slide saying the three groups that are highest risk. We know that blacks, we know women, and we know military veterans. These three have twice the risk of dementia as the rest of the population. So it's very important. And this is something we can use to really study and hopefully improve our approach towards dementia. Knowing what the highest risk factors are, or the people who have the highest risk factors are, can help us. If we really take it seriously, we can actually figure out and find out what it is that makes these people more prone to dementia, and we can learn how to apply that to the general population. Likewise, those who are resistant to dementia, who are the ones that they grow old in their hundreds and above, and even though they're old, they are still sharp as a tack. The Warren Buffetts of this world, the Charlie Mungers of this world, for instance. Warren Buffett, everybody knows who that is. Charlie Munger is his partner, or was his partner, and he died at 99 years old. He was sharp as a tack. What is it about them and their brains? What were their habits? What was their diet? What about them helped to protect them from dementia? We need to learn those things and apply and use this to help counsel and instruct others, so that whether they're in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, they can begin to apply these things so that they can save themselves or protect themselves from dementia. We need to learn from both ends of the spectrum. So that's very, very important. And again, Black women have the highest risk, so we want to know why. Now, before I say the three main things, we want to just go over what we've said over and over again in the past. There are only three reasons why people come down with dementia. One, over a period of time, they've had greater attacks or assaults on their brains. And I'm speaking specifically about Black people, especially Black people in the US, because we have to factor in the whole racial components, racial inequities, injustices, and so on and so forth. But that's not the only reason, because Black people in Africa too have a higher risk of dementia, and they don't have any racial component to it. So I'm not downplaying the racial components, but I'm saying that there's something more, shall we say, integral to our beings. So the genetics play a part for sure, and we'll probably get into it before the end of the show. Genetics play a part, lifestyle play a part, our mental aspect plays a part. I know superstitious beliefs can play a part, especially for those of us living in Africa, and our diet too plays a part. So and of course our education and all those things. I have a talk called Dementia's Dirty Dozen, and you can find that on my YouTube channel. I've done several presentations on that. All right, number one, like we said, I tend to talk a lot, don't I? Number one, we have greater attacks. Black people do. Number two, we have fewer protections. And a lot of that has to do with our lifestyle again, but also some specific nutrients and chemicals which are for the protection of the brain, which we're not getting enough of. We'll get into that. And number three, when things begin to fall apart, I'm not saying they're falling apart completely. Let's say you experience glitches in your memory, or you're not able to sleep well anymore, or you tend to have a short fuse, you're not able to control your emotions and your mood like you used to. When things begin to unravel, such individuals do not get or access, they don't get prompt medical care and intervention. And so the thing continues to fester, and it continues to develop. And there's some that are really obvious, because dementia is a whole category. I mean, over 30 different diseases are under the umbrella of dementia. Alzheimer's disease is just one. It's a large part of it, but it's just one of several. There are some dementias that are easily reversible, as in ridiculously, laughably easily reversible. It's just that many times either they don't get the right doctor, or the doctor just laughs it off, or doesn't take it seriously enough, and that thing continues to fester. Like I said, some good examples are vitamin B12. If you're deficient in vitamin B12, it can present with things like dementia. There's another one called B1. If you're deficient in vitamin B1, the other name for B1 is thiamine. If you're deficient in thiamine, you can have serious dementia, and that can be reversed just like that. So now, again, these are like a lot of, I've just kind of synthesized and just bring them into three main reasons. But I'm sure some of you can relate to some of these. If you can relate, please type in the box below. Maybe you had a loved one and they didn't test in time, and then it developed and became full-blown dementia. And then you look back and you're like, wow, what if they had checked for this, this, and this? We might have saved our mother, grandmother, or someone else. So if you can relate to any of these, please go ahead and type in the box below. All right, let's go on to the three things. So now we've talked about the three major reasons people come with dementia. Now I'm going to talk about the three things that stand out, where Blacks are concerned. Number one, high blood pressure. Number two, high blood sugar levels. And number three, low vitamin D3 levels. Now, folks, let me just tell you now, this is something that we just have to come to terms with. We have to just come to terms with this fact that Black people who look like me, aren't able to handle sugar as well as white people are. It may be a genetic thing, it may be a lifestyle thing, but it may be something that's intrinsic to us, but we tend to have what is known as insulin resistance more than white people do. And so you take the same amount of sugar as a white person does, and then your blood sugar tends to go up higher. And it's maybe related to the third one, which is vitamin D levels, because we have the lowest levels of vitamin D. But I'm getting ahead of myself right now. What I'm trying to say is that even though we tend to have the least ability to regulate our blood sugar levels, funnily enough, we tend to be the ones that like sugar the most. And this has been recorded, this has been documented. There's even a movie that came out recently called The Blackening. And in The Blackening, they were showing, it was kind of like a spoof of Black people, and they were showing how much we like sugar. And I've come to experience that in my daily life, either from comments made by people, or I've seen some relatives of mine, and it's like, well, now that I'm awakened to that fact, I see it everywhere. We Black people like sugar, and we like sugar a lot. Again, the problem is that we don't handle sugar as well. Now, the question is, since we're talking about sugar, how does that affect our risk of having dementia? So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to switch screens now. I'm going to come back to our comment box. I want someone to type in the comment box, tell me why you think sugar leads to dementia. You can make it brief. You can say a few words. You can say long words if you want, but I'm going to switch our screens now and see why. Okay, someone started. So, all right. Okay, so you can see the screen. Now, what I'm looking for now, folks, is I want you to type in why. I'm going to ask a question here too. Why does high sugar levels increase our risk of dementia? All right, folks, I'm waiting. Talk to me. Why do high sugar levels, our body less sugar sit in our brain? Okay, all right, tell me more. Eula says our body less sugar sit in our brain. All right, tell me more. I don't know why I'm drinking coffee at night. Patty says dementia is type 3 diabetes. Okay. Talk to me, folks. Why? No, sugar does have a nutritional purpose. The brain needs sugar. Well, specifically, it needs glucose. Now, sugar is made up of glucose and fructose. Why do high blood sugar levels? Okay. Rosa says it stays in our body longer. Not really. Um, okay. I mean, I like the interaction. Give me more. Give me more before I answer the question. Come on, talk to me, folks. Come on, guys, talk to me. Okay. So I'm guessing the blood and causes damage. Yeah, but how does it cause damage? All right. So okay, this is great. I'm glad you guys are tracking with me. Let me makes you tired. Oh, okay. All right. So tell me, can someone tell me what you're seeing on the screen now? Sugary blood to the brain and other organs slows them down. Sugary blood to the brain and other organs slows them down. So I want 9 necklaces and 25. Oh, okay. All right. Are you seeing the screen where it says the three things, the three numbers: high blood sugar, high blood pressure, high blood sugar levels, and low vitamin D3 levels? Are you seeing all that? Too much sugar in the blood makes it thick, as it was explained to us by the doctor. Okay. All right. So great. Susan, yeah, you're saying you're not seeing what are you seeing right now on the screen? What slide are you seeing? Can someone just tell me what slide you're seeing? Quickly, folks, please type in what slide you're seeing on the screen now. Johari Mitchell. Like thick, syrupy blood doesn't flow freely and help facilitate oxygen flow. Yeah, that's a decent answer too. Not the supplement screen. Okay. All right. Let me just go ahead and explain to you. These are great contributions. What happens when you have too much sugar, or when there's too much sugar circulating in your blood, is that the sugar itself, the glucose itself, once it's too much for the brain, there are two main things that happen. Okay, there are two main things that happen. One, the glucose itself is a problem, and number two, there's what is known as insulin resistance. And we'll probably have another talk when we focus on insulin. But let's start with the first one: sugar, high blood sugar. That sugar itself, once it's circulating in the blood and it's in the brain, and it's more than it should be, it's almost like a toxin itself. Those high blood sugar levels actually cause what is known as inflammation in the brain. Once it reaches over a certain limit, it causes inflammation in the brain, and it damages the most sensitive parts of the brain. And some of the most sensitive parts of the brain are regions like the hippocampus. The hippocampus is like the memory center of the brain. It's the one that formulates short-term memory. It's like the librarian of the brain. It's whatever memory you make, whether it's from your reading or from your reasoning or from your emotions, the hippocampus is the one who receives those memories, formulates those memories, and puts them in the different parts of the brain. It's kind of like a book. It's a he or she, the hippocampus, shelves the book in the part of the brain where it can be retrieved. The hippocampus does all that. Well, like that's why I think it's like a librarian. High blood sugar levels damage the hippocampus and prevent it from doing its work. So if you over a period of time, maybe you're pre-diabetic or diabetic and you've not been taking your medication, you're not trying to exercise to bring your blood sugar levels down, and the blood sugar levels are consistently above what it should be, it's eventually going to cause damage to the parts of the brain, especially the hippocampus. That's one. Now, there's a lot more involved in it than that, but just I need you to this one. If you understand this one, then we're in good shape. Number two, the problem with high blood sugar is the insulin levels. Now, the brain needs many certain parts of the brain need insulin to drive the sugar into the nerve or the brain cells so that the brain cells can have the energy. Once there's high blood sugar levels, what happens is that the brain no longer responds to insulin. And so there's also high insulin levels. The brain is not responding to insulin. Now, insulin is responsible not just for blood sugar, but it's also important for memory. It's important for even protecting the brain, protecting synapses in the brain. So if the brain is not responding to insulin, it means that the other functions of insulin will not be happening. In other words, it is going to affect memory, it's going to affect energy production, it's going to affect balance, and so many of the other things. So there is a double whammy. High blood sugar, the sugar itself causes damage, but also the insulin resistance means that insulin is not able to do its other work of memory formation, protection of the brain cells, protection of the synapses, energy production, and so on and so forth. So it's very, very important that we keep our blood sugar levels down. Now, one thing you can do to keep your blood sugar levels down is to, maybe after a meal, especially a heavy meal, to get up and walk around rather than just going to the couch, plunking down on the couch and watching your favorite TV show. One thing you can do is simply walk around, maybe for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then that will help to bring your blood sugar levels down. It's very, very important. Again, folks, we blacks are the ones that have the least ability to regulate our blood sugar levels. So it's incumbent upon us to do what it takes, which of course means that you want to start reducing things that raise your blood sugar levels. Sugary drinks, all this orange juice, all this packaged fruits drinks, all these sodas that you're drinking like it's water. I want to strongly, strongly advise you to start reducing it. Let's say you cut it in half. Try to get other substitutes. Try to get other healthier substitutes, because these are like sugar bombs, especially the sugary drinks, especially the fruit drinks. They are packed with sugar, and that just raises your blood sugar levels up. So please, I'm begging you, you want to reduce your blood sugars. You want to reduce the sugar you put in your body, and it's not just the sweet things. There are starchy foods too that can easily turn into sugar as well. But I'm not going to go into that right now. The number one thing is your is the juices, the packaged drinks that have a lot of sugar. I know we love sugar, but I'm begging you now. This is one of the things that is putting you on the highway to dementia, to brain damage, memory loss, and dementia. So Goodness. Looks. Okay, folks, sorry about that. My God, what am I seeing here? Huh. Where's my back screen? All right, folks, can you see me now? Okay, looks like I'm coming back. Oh, all right. All right, can you see me now? All right, just let me know. Just type in the comment box. Let me know you can see me. That was embarrassing. I gotta tell you, I lost my battery. Just died on me, just like that. My battery just died on me. Okay, can you see me now? Okay, Eula says this. Okay, so let's talk about. Sorry about that, folks. I just lost power. So we talked about hypertension now. I'm sorry, we've talked about blood sugar. Let's go back and talk about hypertension. Another serious problem we have. Cardiovascular disease. We are the kings and queens of cardiovascular disease. I mean, even from a young age, you see the blood sugar levels going up. We see, hypertension. We see blood pressure levels going up. I mean, even I was on hypertensive drugs because I gained weight and I just got careless. In fact, thankfully, I went to a church in Houston. I think it was Joel Osteen's church. I was driving through town. I was driving cross country, attended service there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have some people, some medical healthcare people coming in from out of town, and from from a health center. They came and they did free blood sugar, free blood pressure testings. Of course, my blood sugar was perfect. I'm always very careful about what I put in my body. I take a lot of supplements as well, so that was perfect. But my blood pressure was high, and I was like, "What the heck?" I mean, I'm not 70 yet. Why would I have high blood pressure? But there it was. And again, I have to remind you folks that we have a problem with hypertension. We do not regulate our blood pressure as well. Again, I think part of it is related to vitamin D, and some other things that we lack, like potassium and magnesium. We just don't have as much for whatever reason. I haven't figured it out yet, but our vitamin D levels, I can tell you for a fact that it's related to our vitamin D levels, related to our melanin pigment, the fact that we have dark skin, and another fact is that we don't go out in the sun as much. And this is another great mystery of life for me. It's like, why those of us who need it the most are the ones who are running away from the sun the most. And I've heard all kinds of explanations. None of them is satisfactory as far as I'm concerned. If you're lacking in vitamin D, you need to be out in the sun. That is one of the greatest resources that we have, and we need it probably more than the white people do. I'm not going to talk about it for so long. But here's a problem. Here's a problem with hypertension, especially sustained hypertension over a long period of time, 10, 20, 30 years, is that it damages what is known as the blood-brain barrier. So all the blood vessels in the brain, they have a barrier that prevents the walls of these blood vessels. They have a barrier that prevents certain chemicals and certain proteins, and of course prevents bugs and viruses from penetrating into the brain and causing damage. What sustained hypertension does is that it breaks down that barrier, allowing for certain things that should not be in the brain to be in the brain. And one of them is a certain protein called albumin. So a lot of people you've probably heard of albumin before. That allows for a certain protein to leak into the brain, and it causes mayhem because it's not supposed to be in the brain. And so the brain's, shall we say, sentinels, the brain's security system, security apparatus, the bodyguards of the brain, Once they see things like albumin leaking into the brain, they are on high alert and they attack it. And that causes what is known as inflammation, which eventually causes damage to again, to the most sensitive parts of the brain, like the hippocampus, and in turn can cause memory loss. And let's face it, folks, I've just said two things, and these are just two things that I've mentioned now. There are a ton of other things, but I'm talking about Black women and Black people in general. And I say the things that stand out the most, and in my opinion, the easiest things to address: hypertension, high blood sugar, and the third one is low vitamin D. Now, there are only two ways we can increase our vitamin D levels. One of them is by going out in the sun regularly. Now, don't tell me about this whole skin cancer thing, because Black people they are least likely to have skin cancer. Again, the same thing that prevents us from getting vitamin D or making vitamin D in our body is the same thing that protects us against skin cancer. I started my career as a cancer doctor, a radiation oncologist. And I got to tell you, I cannot remember treating a single Black person. Now, I'm not saying there were none, but in my personal life, I can't remember treating a single Black person for skin cancer. We treated a lot of albinos for skin cancer because they're genetically, they have reduced melanin. And so that melanin, they didn't have the protection against skin cancer or against damage from the sun's rays. But it's a two-edged sword. Protection against damage from the sun's rays is also the hindrance to making vitamin D. Now, I'm probably going to do another talk on vitamin D, but vitamin D is probably the most important nutrient for your brain. It is like the Voltron, the protector of the brain. It does so many things to protect, to nourish, to improve the health of the brain. And we simply don't have enough of it. We don't have enough vitamin D. And so in general, so I mentioned two things. One is if you go out in the sun. Two, then the only other way is if you supplement. You're not going to get it out of food. You're going to get a little bit, but you're not going to get enough to sustain your brain and your body simply by taking food. If you're not out in the sun, you must supplement. And if you see in the slide I showed earlier, you can have, I guess I should show it. The range of vitamin D that you should have is from 30 to 100. I guess I should. I'm just going to show it. Yeah. Okay. So this number 3 right here. The range is from 30 to 100 nanograms per mil. Now, I'm going to say this, folks. If it's 30, it is not enough. I know it's not. I know they say that's normal for you. You got to go check your vitamin D levels. Don't let your doctor say, "Oh, it's fine, you're okay." No, you're going to ask them for the numbers, because we're now finding that it's about 50 and 60 and above, within the 100 range as well. That's when the levels are important, are high enough to maintain a healthy brain. I know a doctor who's a sleep doctor, and she's saying that when she's seeing kids and young people who have sleep problems, it's only when their vitamin D levels get to about 60 that she begins to see improvements. There's another doctor who deals with hormonal problems with women, and she says it's only when they get to 70 that the vitamin D levels get to 70 that she now sees good hormonal health. So let's stop thinking that just being 30, you're fine. You're not fine, because we're playing the long game now. The long game is that you want to have sustained levels, very healthy levels of vitamin D throughout your life. Because if for a whole decade you're surviving on 25 to 30, I'm telling you, when you get to be your 70s and 80s, the damage would have been done over that period of time because it has been insufficient. So you want to make sure that you're having healthy vitamin D levels. In the US, you can afford to. It's available for you can do the tests for vitamin D. In places like Africa, it's very difficult. So I just prescribe vitamin D for my patients straight off. And no one, I know there was a newspaper article that came out recently that someone died from vitamin D. I'm telling you, there's more to a story than that. Don't let that scare you. If you're a black person, you need vitamin D more than the white person does. Don't let that scare you. You want to make sure that you are taking vitamin D every day, and possibly taking vitamin K2 as well. So I have a combination I got from Amazon. It's called D2 and K3. It's a good combination. But if you can't find K2, you gotta get D3. I mean, I say this to people and I'm like almost begging them, because it's so simple. It's so easy to do. It's super cheap as well. This could last me like 5 to 6 months. I think I paid like $15 for it, but it can save you so much trouble. So please, I really want to encourage you to do that. Because remember, this is the definition of Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a degenerative brain disease that is caused by complex brain changes following cell damage. It leads to dementia symptoms that gradually worsen over time. So there's damage, and I talk about the 12 things that cause damage and lead to dementia. I call it the dirty dozen. I said it at the beginning of this program. Go to my YouTube channel. You're going to see a lot of videos on the dirty dozen, and you may relate to one of them. You may relate to several of them, but I guarantee you, almost everybody, if anybody's going to have problems with their brain, it's going to come through those 12, one or more of those 12 channels. And I have this picture in front of you. There's cellular damage. As the brain now tries to respond to that damage, tries to compensate for it. There are complex brain changes as a result. Many times it's not able to compensate or fix the damage. And so there's degeneration, there's damage, and then eventually you have full-blown dementia. So what we need to do is to reduce the damage, reduce the attacks. So back to what we need to do. What we need to do is reduce the attacks, increase our protections, or strengthen our defenses. And number 3, we need to be more intelligent about our interactions with the healthcare system. Know your numbers. Ask a doctor intelligent questions. Find out about things. Be alert for yourself or for your partner or for your spouse or your loved one. If you begin to see their memory fail, if you begin to see them acting irrationally or not acting like themselves, you need to persuade them to go check their numbers, go see the doctor, so that we can catch it early, can nip it in the bud. This is too important for you to be lackadaisical, for you to be nonchalant about it. You've got to take this very seriously. This is becoming very embarrassing, quite frankly. Where almost everybody I see and talk to is like their grandmother. They know, black people now, they know someone who's either their grandmother, they lost their grandmother to dementia, or lost both grandparents. I mean, it's like almost, it's amazing. Almost everybody I see, they have someone in their family that they lost to dementia. We never saw that in Nigeria. Never. Now that's changing, but we never saw that. Almost, I mean, I see kids. That was they did a TV program on me, and the 2 young black ladies who came to interview me, the reporters, they both had grandparents who had suffered dementia. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means, and I'm over 50. I don't know what it feels like to have someone who has dementia. And these were just kids in their late teens and early 20s. So we've got to take it seriously, folks. We've got to take it seriously. So I'm going to just wrap it up now. If you have any questions, please go ahead and type it in. We've probably gone over time. I actually meant to speak for only 30 minutes. But it looks like I always get worked up about this, quite frankly. Okay, so what do you guys think? Let me know if you have any questions. We'll go with a few of the questions. Of course, you can DM me if you have any questions about how to take care of a loved one with dementia. Like I said, we are treating dementia in Nigeria, Africa. We're being very successful. The government has given us full full rights to use our unique approach to addressing dementia. And of course, we're creating a course where it's called Keeping Your Marbles, Keeping Your Marbles. We go through these issues in detail so you can really understand how to take care of your brain and your health. And it's never too early to start. It's never too late, and it's never too early to start. Yes, vitamin K2 and vitamin D3, Patrick. Vitamin K3, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2. Yes, thank you, Patty. Patty Johnson says, great information. Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking with me. I know that glitch with the whole net. Apparently, my computer it wasn't charging, and so it just died on me. Okay, all right. So no questions. I want to say thank you for joining us. We're on every week at 8 o'clock. So share this link with your friends and family. This is very important. We are on a mission to educate Black people. So we can go to churches, we can go to stadia, we can go on TV, on radio. We want to educate Black people about what you need to do to protect yourself, to protect your brain, to reduce your risk for dementia, and live a long, healthy, meaningful life. So God bless you. Take care. And if you have any questions, again, just type in your comments here or you send me a DM on any of the platforms. Dr. David Ajibade, that's my name there. And that's where I show up on the platforms. God bless. Take care. Bye. Over and out.